you have to wash them before, you got to scour them before you use them. There's spinning oil in all of the wools and that, and silk has still sericin in it. If you don't get that out, it's just not going to dye well. And I use my water usually 3 or 4 or 5 times, and if I don't wash it out, the oil, and it just stops the dyeing. So you would have noticed a light yellow, pale yellow in the water, and it's just the sericin and the spinning oil coming out of it. So what we have here is I've got 5 different yarns. This is the marine silk fingering. This is a very popular yarn. It's got the sea cell, the silk, and the merino wool in it. This is my nemesis, which is the silk naturel, 100% silk noil. This is the mohair lace that we were looking at. Then I've got the 50-50 blend alpaca and wool. This is our worsted weight, great yarn. And then our 100% merino wool. And this one is a superwash, even though I don't tell people it's superwash because I don't want them to put them in the washing machine.
Is that how you receive your yarn? From those?
Yeah, and again, I tell them I want a 55-inch reel because I want all the yarns about the same. And, you know, if I were 7 feet tall, it wouldn't matter, but really, you know, this is my tallest dye pot. Well, the other ones sit almost this much. I mean, you can see I don't have, you know, if it were 72 inches or much longer, I couldn't get the dye pot. I have 3 dye pots. This is the smallest that I've got. And I usually fill them about halfway full of water. It depends on how much I'm going to dye.
Does it have to be a certain heat?
No.
No?
I just don't want it boiling. And I can tell sometimes.
Yeah. Moving.
I mean, it, you know, they say probably 180 degrees, but you know, and I can tell if the dye's not taking, I either turn it up or I put more acid in it. One of the two is happening with it. So again, not very scientific. This is the citric acid crystals, and I just put a little bit in. And this is based on how much yarn you have, not how much water. So if I have 2 times as much water, it would dilute it more, but it doesn't. You don't need a lot of it. So that's in there, and it dissolves fairly quickly. And so, what color, ladies, do we want to start with in here? Somebody want to say a color?
Pink.
Pink? You want to start pink? Okay, so I'm going to use, actually I'm going to use magenta on this. I have red and I have magenta, and I'm just going to put a little bit in to start with. Okay? The really cool thing about this is as we go, you're going to see, and one of the reasons I love acid dyes is because they actually exhaust onto the fiber. So I can start out with opaque water here, and it will, as it bonds to the fiber, it goes out of the water. I will end up with clear water when I'm done. Wow. So that's pretty neat and environmentally pretty neat.
Well,
too.
and that way you can reuse it with a different color?
Right. So we can see it's already starting to take.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it takes really fast.
So you basically put a little bit in.
I put a little bit because we wanted pink. So this is how I start. I start usually light, and then I will keep adding. Now look what's happened already. Wow. Look at how it's all taken differently.
Yeah,
the mohair.
Look at that.
Yeah, very fun. And you can see there's less dye in the dye pot from when I started.
Which one is this? It's not taking the dye.
That is the silk naturel, the one that is difficult. That one's a difficult one. So one of the interesting, I'll pull it up right now because we can take a peek at it. Not them when we talk about them. So as you can see, they're all taking it differently. You know, I started, I put this in, I let it, you know, it's darker down here because this has been in a little bit longer. You know, the mohair took it beautifully, very, very quickly. One of the things that I have realized is that they oftentimes the top of the dye, but the inside, I have to be really careful with this. Both the dye ties, you know, I can get easily white around the dye ties, and then the insides don't take the dye as quickly. And in this case, it's probably all of them. You can see in this skein, you know, that it's white up here. So this can be an interesting thing to play with over time. Again, my really interesting yarn is this marine silk. It's very sticky, and so what it causes is the inside to be very different than the outside. This is almost nothing of that. That was the top of the skein, got dyed. So this one's a little tricky, but it's still, like I said, it's a really fun one to work with.
And this mohair, this one was so much darker, it's already draining